My right shoulder, and this is really the piece that led to this video a lot of people miss, the shoulder needs to go up and towards the target. So from here, my shoulder doesn't stay level and turn around. That would be the no tilting piece. As my left shoulder goes down towards my right hip, or left shoulder down towards the left hip, my right shoulder goes up away from my right hip. See the difference there? Left shoulder down towards left hip, right shoulder up away from right hip. So the shoulder's lifting and working towards the target. Hey guys, Eric here out at the beautiful Don Law Golf Academy at beautiful Osprey Point Golf Club in Boca Raton, Florida. Now in today's video, we're gonna talk about how the pros tilt their shoulders in the golf swing. I'm gonna show you some really cool examples and how you can add this in your swing to hit the ball a lot better. Now, before we dive in, if you are interested in in-person coaching, I'll be coaching out here in Boca during the winter. Would love to have you come. We'll put a link down in the description for that. If you can't make it down here, we'd still love to work with you through cogornogolf.com. That's where you can send me your swing from anywhere in the world. We'll build you a customized practice plan, give you all the resources you need to take your game to the next level, break whatever scoring barrier you have. We'd love to see you at cogornogolf.com. We'll also link that down below. Now, before we dig into the details and I show you how to do this all, let's hop over to Analyzer. I want to show you how the pros tilt those shoulders. Then we'll come back and I'll show you how you can put it in your own swing.
Couple key points here for visuals on the shoulder motion. Just have Grant Waite here. We're going to take a look at the left shoulder first. So we'll draw a circle around the shoulder to indicate where he starts at. And as we get him through during the backswing first, that left shoulder you're going to notice has two distinct motions relative to the target. The first part is that it's gone down, and the second part is that it's gone away from the target. So it's worked on a down and away from the target trajectory during the backswing. Now if we look on the right side, let's look at his right shoulder. And what you're going to see here is this is going to do the opposite motion. So his left shoulder worked down and away from the target. His right shoulder, this is the piece a lot of people miss, works up, right? Works up this way and towards the target. So if we get him at the top, you'll notice here's where his right shoulder will finish, up and towards the target, like that. So left shoulder, down and away, right shoulder, up and towards. Let's pull up another example here. So let's pull up an Adam Scott on the right. Let's pull him here and the left. Let's see if he does about the same piece. So left shoulder here on the way back is going to work down and away. So here's his top of backswing. So down and away. Now you'll notice players will do these pieces at varying degrees, some more down than others, but we'll display the same movement. So the right shoulder works up. See the up part? Up and towards the target to the top. So this picture where you would notice the shoulder motion for these players is going to look the same for the pros across the board. And that piece from down the line is the piece that enables them to keep that inclination to the ground. So if we look at from this angle, this part where we're keeping the spine angle the same happens from those two motions. So that left shoulder has gone down and away, and the right shoulder has gone up and towards. Now as they're doing that motion, left shoulder down and away, right shoulder up and towards, there's a little bit of that extension piece in, which would be the shirt button slightly up towards the sky versus down towards the ground. And that'll be the piece, if we run him through for a second, that enables both of them, let's get them both at the start, to keep their head in the circle. Keep your head in the circle, maintain inclination to the ground, right? Easier contact. So you'll see typically the good players will stay in the circle or move down about a half an inch to 1 inch at the top as they start their downswing piece. So there's the shoulder motion. Left shoulder down and away, right shoulder up and towards the target. Now, really as a baseline, what you're looking for, and this will be the same even with driver. Let's pull up a driver example here so we can see. Let's get the left shoulder here. So the left shoulder is going to work down and away. Get him up to the top. There's the down and away part. And then if we look at the right shoulder, we'll see the same movement. So here's, let's call this the right shoulder to start. And we'll get the right shoulder. See how it works up. See, a lot of people miss the up and towards the target. Back to here. Now, as an indicator for the right shoulder, as that turns behind, if I drew a line straight up their body when they start, a good checkpoint to use here would be getting the right shoulder. So just go right up basically the middle of the body and right up the middle of the body. You want to get that right shoulder behind you to the point where it gets closer to the target or gets past this middle of the body line. See the right shoulder appear there to the right of the line. Same thing here, right shoulder right of the line. So that would be an indicator of how much you have to turn and retract that shoulder we'll talk about. Now if we look on the downswing, what we're going to note, so left shoulder has worked down and away from the target on the way back. Let's check that out one more time. So left shoulder worked down and away on the way back. Now during the downswing, that thing's going to work down and forward until left arm parallel. And now from this position, it's going to work up and back away from the target. Up and back away from the target. So it travels all the way over here. So down and away. Let's get him back to the beginning. Down and away. Down and forward, up and away. That'd be the left shoulder. Now the right shoulder is going to work up and towards the target, on the way back, up and towards it, and then on the way down, it's going to work down and forward towards the target, down and forward. And the same principles you'll see with the driver, except the shoulder won't have as much of the down and forward because we're trying to hit up on it. So the shoulder usually will stay more level in transition, but then it'll still pull up and back. So it pulls up and back. And then the right shoulder will still follow the same trajectory. So it'll go down and forward all the way through. So that's the motion of the shoulders of the pros, the key points. Let's talk about how you can do this in your own golf swing.
All right, guys, so there you saw kind of the basics of the shoulder motion. This is really how the pros tilt it during the backswing and the downswing. Wanted to give you a few key checkpoints there and visuals so you could see it. And now we'll talk through some of what the feels are that you would use and why we want to do this in the first place. So we saw there with the pros from face on, based on the circles, that lead shoulder obviously going to work down towards the ground and away from the target. And the right shoulder is going to work up towards the sky and towards the target. Now the down part comes in from the side bend or the tilt. So my left shoulder would be getting closer to my left hip. That obviously you can see makes my shoulder go down towards the ground. But how does it go away from the target? That part comes from the turning. So if I turn my body away from the target, watch my shoulder. See how that makes it go away from the target. So we've got the tilting, which makes it go down, and the turning, which makes it go away. Now, if I put those pieces together, tilting, left shoulder down towards my left hip, as I turn my shirt buttons back towards the camera, that would get my left shoulder down and away from the target. Now, my right shoulder would be the opposites. My right shoulder, and this is really the piece that led to this video a lot of people miss, the shoulder needs to go up and towards the target. So from here, my shoulder doesn't stay level and turn around. That would be the no tilting piece. As my left shoulder goes down towards my right hip, or left shoulder down towards the left hip, my right shoulder goes up away from my right hip. See the difference there? Left shoulder down towards left hip, right shoulder up away from right hip. So the shoulder's lifting and working towards the target. So we've got the tilting and we've got the turning. Now the last piece we have here is what we would call, in terms of our shoulders, retraction and protraction. So if I just hold my arms out in front, I could pull my shoulders back, like I'm doing like a shoulder shrug, pulling my shoulder blades back, squeezing my shoulder blades together, or I could push my arms forward, my shoulder blades would be forward. So this would be protracted and this would be retracted. As I do my backswing, and we saw from face on, the line up the player, as my right shoulder is going up and back, there's also going to be some of that retraction move, which helps get my right shoulder up and actually more towards the target than my baseline. So when you watch yourself, if you're not able to get that full turning piece, some of pulling that shoulder and retracting that shoulder can be the piece that can help you make the full backswing turn. So let's go ahead and do one with the here, left shoulder down, right shoulder up, chest towards the target behind me. Left shoulder down, right shoulder up, chest away. Good. Now, when I'm doing this and I'm tilting, the main simple version of why do I do this, when I take my setup position, and what the pros do well, you can see, I'm bent over, I'm bent forward. So I have this angle, this spine angle. Now you can see in the Hideki example, as my left shoulder goes down and away, my right shoulder goes up and towards, I'm able to maintain my same angle to the ground. Now, why is that important? Well, for me, and all of us, not just me, we want to be able to hit the ground and hit the ball solid. Would it be easier to have consistent solid contact if my body maintains the distance from the ground, or if I'm constantly changing it? Of course, it'd be easier if I were able to maintain constant distance from the ground. How do I maintain constant distance from the ground? I do that by this tilting piece, okay? Now, some of you, and the reason I want to talk about this video, is a lot of us try and feel the left shoulder down when we see that we turn too flat, but not a lot of us try and correct it with the right shoulder. And this may be a feel that you like. Feeling your right shoulder going up and around you towards the target. So if I drew a line on my right shoulder, that would be getting farther away from the ground and more towards the target during my whole backswing. And that can be a piece just like the left shoulder, where if my right shoulder goes up and towards the target, where's that going to want to make my left shoulder go? Down and away from the target. So it's just a different option for you to do the same things. Now, those are the backswing pieces, right? Left shoulder down, right shoulder up, your shirt buttons towards the camera, preferably feeling a little more up towards the sky compared to down towards the ground. That'll be the piece that keeps the head in the circle. Now, on the downswing, the shoulders also travel, right? They don't stay where they're at. So you can see in the Adam Scott example, that left shoulder goes down and away from the target, and then it goes down and towards the target until left arm parallel. Then from there, the shoulder's working up and away on the way through. Down and away, down more and towards it, up and away. Down and away, down and towards the target, up and away. So now, depending upon where you're at in your pattern, you would feel the whole spectrum. Down and away, more down and towards it, up and out. Now, obviously, if I'm doing that, depending upon which piece you might need more of, you would check your swing on video and put that component in. But there again, the whole purpose for that is for me to strike the ball solid. Now, my right shoulder will have the similar movements, right? Wherever my left shoulder goes, my right shoulder is going to go sort of equal and opposite. So as I'm working down here, my left shoulder goes down and forward. My right shoulder is also going to go down and forward. And then from there, it's going to continue working down and forward, continue working down and forward, continue working down and forward. And that would be a different piece for me to feel the same thing. And all the pros exhibit these same pieces. So my right shoulder goes up and towards the target, then it goes down and towards the ball, and then forward towards the target. Up and towards it, then down and towards the ball. Beautiful. So there's some optional feels. Let's just recap that one more time. There's some optional feels you can have depending upon which shoulder you want to feel it in. And there's no correct there, right? You could feel it in your left shoulder, feel it in your right shoulder. Neither one is by definition correct. Either one can work fine. If you want to feel left shoulder, you'd feel left shoulder down towards your left hip during the backswing as you're turning. You'd feel it more down and forward, and then up and away. That'd be the left shoulder feels. So down and away, more down and forward. That would be the left shoulder optional feels. Or I can do right shoulder to add tilt. I can have my right shoulder working up and towards the target on the way back, up and towards it. So it immediately goes up and back towards the target, and then down and forward towards the ball, and forward towards the target. So up and towards the target, back down and towards the ball. And that would be another optional piece for me to feel the same thing. So if you want to add tilt for the purpose of striking the ground, solidness of contact, maintaining spine angle, those would be the feels that I would use that I explained there. And those would be the checkpoints. So videotape yourself, match that to the pictures we had on here, use video like I mentioned, and be willing to exaggerate until you can match those same looks. If you guys have any questions, as always, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, do us a favor, click that gray thumbs up like button down there. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about the video? What are some topics you'd like us to cover? Let me know your thoughts down below. If you did like this video, we'll put a recommended video, similar video to this one on the screen. We'll also put the logo for Cogorno Golf. Click that, that'll take you right there. We'd love to work with you there.